Your Honor, we would ask that Ms. Solomon's handcuffs be removed in case she wants to write.
I don't see any reason not to.
Judge, it's our policy to handcuffs on, but if you want to override it, we can do that.
What was that?
It's our policy to handcuffs to be on.
I know, but it's not going to make much difference in here unless she's some sort of sprinter. She's not going to get out of here.
Okay. So, you want it on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ferguson, in the matter of the State of Tennessee versus Angela Lee Solomon, where she's charged with solicitation of first-degree murder, a Class B felony. For the purpose of this preliminary hearing, how does she plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
General, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will call Special Agent Sean Atkins, their first witness. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And Your Honor, the defense asked to be heard regarding bond, and we will have one witness.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Thank you.
And, Your Honor, I guess also for the record, the defense filed a motion to compel regarding search warrants. We notified Mr. Burleson yesterday that there are no search warrants in this case.
Yes, Your Honor. Based on that, we'll strike it.
And if we could swear in the witness.
I will. You guys will quit interrupting. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give us the truth?
I do.
Have a seat. Speak into the little skinny mic there and it'll amplify your voice. Pull that short mic closer to you. That's what's going to record you for the record.
All right.
He did call for the roll.
Your Honor, the state's witnesses are out.
And I think that's covered.
All right. If you would, please state your name for the record, please.
My name is Sean Adkins.
All right. And where do you work?
I work for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
And how long have you been there?
This is my 15th year.
Okay. Did you have any law enforcement experience prior to TBI?
Prior to TBI, I worked for the United States Secret Service as a Uniform Division Officer.
Okay. And what division of TBI do you work with?
I currently work for the Drug Investigation Division.
Okay. All right. Sometime late March, early April of this year, was TBI contacted by the Franklin Police Department regarding Angie Solomon?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were you asked to participate in that investigation?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was your role supposed to be in that investigation?
I was informed that my role would be to go undercover and portray myself as a hitman for hire.
Okay. And did you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
And what day did you do that?
It was April 11th.
Okay. And that's of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And where did that take place?
In Franklin, Tennessee.
Okay. And where specifically?
At the mall here in Franklin, Cool Springs.
Okay. Is that in Williamson County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if you would, just kind of tell us how you were set up that day. Where were you at the mall?
Okay. We were in a vehicle. I was in the back seat, and we parked outside of the Macy's, where the shoe store is, but closer to the perimeter road that goes around the mall.
Okay. All right. And were you in the vehicle with someone else?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that a confidential informant?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay. And at some point, did you all make a connection with Angie Solomon?
Yes, the informant made a phone call to her to let her know that we were there.
Okay. And at that point, did she come to meet with you in person?
Yes, ma'am. She backed out of a parking spot, drove up, and I instructed her to park a couple rows over so she could walk up to us.
Okay. Now, backing up a little bit, were you wired for audio?
Yeah, I had a recorder transmitter on me. We had two of them going. I had one going so that my RAC team could hear me in case they needed to come and rescue me and the informant.
Okay, all right. And tell us a little bit about your first connection with Miss Solomon.
Well, again, she parked her car two rows away. She got out, walked up, and got in the passenger seat of the vehicle, and I instructed her not to turn around, and that's how we carried on our conversation.
Okay. And this entire conversation was recorded.
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to today's date, have you reviewed that recording?
Yes, ma'am.
Did TBI provide a copy of that recording to the state of Tennessee?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to play the recording. We are going to be starting at the 5-minute and 22-second mark. We have that keyed up. We have talked to Mr. Burleson.
Any objection, Mr. Burleson? Okay, you can begin playing it.
It's connected to this other microphone.
You're gonna have to bring it into contact with that microphone there, so
Yep, I was just thinking the best way to keep it plugged in.
Hey,
Please leave your message for
Permanent Macy's.
Now, Agent Atkins, I'm going to stop right there. Whose voice did we hear on that audio recording?
It would have been mine and the informant's.
Thank you.
Hey. Hey, we're in the car. Do you see where I am?
no.
No. Where are you going?
Well, tell me where you are. Let's get back here.
Alright, I'm kind of in front of Macy's, but I'm like in front of Chili's, in the shoe station, but like in the parking lot.
Judge, can you hear it okay?
I can hear fine.
Okay.
We don't know it.
Okay, alright, thank
Okay,
you.
and I'm just over here by, let's see, JPK and, oh wait, there's a, wait, you said Chili?
Yeah, you know, like,
Is there a Chili down there?
Yeah.
Wait, is there a Chili out there?
yeah, I wanted to park a little bit away.
Oh, wait, I wonder why they go.
Oh, there you go.
Tell her to park down and walk up a little bit.
Oh, he just said to park down and walk up a little bit, don't park next to us.
Okay, so, right left or?
Yeah, park to the
Don't
right.
matter.
Yeah, don't park in the same row as us. Alright.
Right here.
Alright.
Right over here?
Yeah, I'll,
Yeah, he said that's fine. Okay. It's okay.
I'll leave my phone in the car.
Alright.
to be as incognito as possible.
You sit in the front seat, don't turn around.
I won't.
Okay.
Agent Atkins, who's the voice that is added to the recording at that point?
Mrs. Solomon.
Okay. And do you see her here today?
Yes, sir.
Can you point her out for us, please?
She's right there in orange.
On the record to reflect that he is identified the defendant.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's going on?
My son was trying to protect my daughter from being raped since she was born, all the way back to first. My son said that he was 18, he was in custody because he's had us in court the whole time. He's drugged and raped her, drugged and raped me. That's how Grant got here. We trade my children for anything. And another living in this jail. He's been in prison without walls. He was supposed to do that. Zach was again. Even though Gracie has no contact, she can't get, because of the way his attorney operates, she can't get protection. They're dangerous. They off other people. They have they call it suicide here in Nashville. And I know we're based on all of this.
You keep saying they. Who is it?
It's a good old network here. So that's part of who he operates with. That Good Old Boy network is involved in sex trafficking, pedophilia. They traffic Gracie. They traffic. He's involved. So they do. They have a much larger industry than just being attorneys. The governor. The governor. The state attorney generals, maybe pastors of large congregations and churches. Children are being taken, they're being drugged with ketamine, they're being raped and molested, and they don't know. They can hear, but they can't move. And we live in the state. I've seen one of them come from the 6th school in Nashville, and here he's done the same. He's done the same thing to them, right? He's drugged them, raped them, and then he killed Grant in cold blood after we found out that Grant was going to go to court because they stripped me, they took the children from me. He was millionaire, took the children from me. Continued to use Gracie as the law, and
Well, what do you need from me?
well, I understand you do certain work. What I've seen the last, I have my own little working for justice. The problem is what I've seen is that what he's proven in the last 6 months, because I filed child support and instead I dropped it. I swear I dropped it, they came after us. And what I've found out is, he's got teeth in it, he's never let go. He either has to be just like a counselor wants him he belongs in prison or he belongs under the ground. And I need
Agent Atkins. Agent Atkins, what was that last part of what we heard?
We were discussing what she wanted done, and in that portion of the audio, she said that she wanted him under the ground or in the ground.
Okay. So those two choices in prison or under the ground, you want which one? Okay.
my daughter's not going to go.
And Agent Atkins, it was hard to hear there. What did she say in answer to your question?
Under the ground.
Out the shoulder. I'm not able to retire. I'm worried. I've been a lawyer. I'm not saying I'm not a lawyer if I talk to you, but I'm just getting to the point where I can't do like this. And we're going to do like that.
Okay.
He's already bought everything.
All right. You have any information? Like, who is this guy? What's his name?
His name is Angie Solomon.
Okay. You have a picture or anything?
I don't have one with me,
Okay.
but I'm sure it's easy to Google.
where does he live?
We have his address. We have the address. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We have everything.
So you can text that stuff to Steve here?
He's probably got it. Sure. Yes.
What other information can you tell me that can help me out? Like, what's he drive?
He drives. I'm just about to ask this question. Okay, please. Like, I feel like, oh my God, I was doing it with the camera on like you. And I just said I wanted to know the ground. Oh, you're trustworthy, right? I mean, that's a stupid question.
I mean, there's trust going both ways here. That's why we're sitting in the middle of the parking lot, okay?
Yeah, I just don't know you, and I know you don't want anything, and I don't want to know. And I don't want you to, you know what I mean?
The only contact we have is through Steve here. That's all I want.
That's perfect. You're not recording me or anything, so you can buzz me.
I'll be worried about you doing that before me.
Well, that never happened. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
This conversation's never happened. And I've thought two things disappearing or is one, and the other would be the proof of it, of it, and that allows the large trust, and that we can automatically default to Gracie, but I'd rather, I don't care about the money. I think it's a cleaner thing just to be.
How do you, any way you want it done? What do you want me to do to him?
I want you to do whatever you do when you're looking at someone who's been sodomized before she and whatever you would do to a man who took his own beautiful 18-year-old son out to a very, very remote location. Hit him over the head with the tools that would sanctuary, which is Facebook, and stayed at the top of the hill and watched him die under a truck.
I got a few ideas.
Okay?
Does he live with anybody?
To my knowledge, no. I don't know his life. I know enough to know that he lives. He lives a millionaire's life. He lives a high life. So he's at Lifetime Fitness at a certain time every day. That's the bougie workout center.
Mm-hmm.
I know that where he lives, there's a way in the back fence. It's gated, but there's a way in the back fence.
What do you mean? There's like a gate in the back fence, or is it broken?
It must be broken.
Okay.
One of my friends, that's how we found where you are. Sorry, that's the little girl that you are freaking. She cannot live without fear of him. She even said she wants to put him in prison. She said, even if I do put him in prison, he can still make phone calls.
So you think I can get in the back fence like that? It's not like a small hole. It's something that a man can get through.
So I know of people who've gotten into drives two vehicles. One is, I guess, what we call now an older model Toyota. It's like a soccer ball. It's maroon. It's Toyota.
I know it's a Toyota. I don't know.
It's a Toyota, like 4-door, like little.
Sedan
like,
or SUV?
Like that white car over there.
Okay.
Like it's a little SUV, and on the back of my car says "Love like Grant." So he drives around with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's LL Grant, but it will say Grant. The other one is a Toyota Tacoma, charcoal gray. And it is, I have the plates on that. It is, on both of them actually. But, it is a newer model, King Cab. Charcoal grade, Toyota. That's a, no, it was a, yeah, it's a Tacoma. So, yeah. That's the other. Now, he could have other vehicles, but those are the ones that we know of. The gated community is in a bougie part of Nashville. But in the back of that gated community is a fence or either a break in the fence. Because the only way we found him was his girlfriend was there.
Okay, so he lives in a gated community and that's the fence that has the break in it?
In the back.
Okay, so it's, there's like, you don't have an independent fencing around his backyard?
No, he is now in a condo complex that's like a high rise.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 133.
Okay, is that, so I guess that's on the first floor or?
I wonder, I don't know, but I got that from Toscana. I would assume that's the first floor.
Okay.
But I've not been in that place, I don't know. He supposedly works for Merrill Lynch, and supposedly works at the Franklin location, which is somewhere out here.
Okay.
He's been wanting to go to the Franklin location, but he also still goes downtown to the Merrill Lynch location, which has the high rise of the garage.
Okay. And yeah, that's the next question. Have the parking at that condo where he lives, is it open like this or is it like a parking complex?
And it's my understanding, the people that I think there's one vehicle that's closest to the unit. There's one parking spot, 133, that's close to the unit, and then usually the truck is parked further away.
Okay, so the parking spots correspond to their, okay, all right. You don't have a gate code to get in there or anything?
All we have, I just know that I know multiple people besides my friend that have accessed his vehicles through the gate, from something in the back of the gate. And also, like I said, he is very easy to tell because he's been told so many times that he doesn't even realize it. So when he's at Lifetime Fitness, we usually get a call that he's out here at Lifetime, just one side watching. And then when he leaves, he just comes from our news. That's how we found out where he lived. They follow him.
Okay. You want him to know where this is coming from?
No.
Okay.
And what I want is no way. I mean, just tell me. Because I could have done this a long time ago in Grant. But right now, I have to worry about this. Just tell me I didn't do it because I didn't want to go to jail if they have to have me. So it just can't be traced back, right?
All right, that's why we're going through this out. After you get out of here, you'll never see me again.
Are you mean?
Am I mean? I can be mean. You want me to be mean? Okay.
He thinks he's about 5'8", with shoes on the heels. And he thinks he is God.
Okay. So slow is better than quick.
Yes.
All right.
He likes to oppress and he likes to wield power over women by drugging women and that is way. But I'm here for my daughter, my son, and for her future we have grandchildren. Right now, she's getting ready to go to university and what I've learned, right now they've got me locked up in case again, and the teeth are in. He is a psychopath. I had a psychiatrist watch him in court, and came out and said the way his mannerisms and everything, he was a psychopath. And we all know what they do. Crazy. My daughter says he's a cross between Jeffrey Dahmer and I don't know so Bundy.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is a guy that's just gonna be a freaking win. But what I need is right. What I need is, please, is for him to just basically be missing, right? And not be able to be found.
Okay.
And he always just, I don't know how things operate like that, but I've already thought he always has 2 cell phones on him, just FYI, so there's location issues. There's 2 on him somewhere.
Okay.
And so a lot of times he wears, you know, he always has like 5, that's something to identify that he always has 5 changes of shirts in the back of his vehicle, hanging up. And he, sometimes he keeps a recorder or things like that in his, like, if he wears a button-up shirt, the long sleeves, in his pocket. Sometimes he has a recorder on. So just, that's for FYI. But I just want to get the word from, you know, maybe the attorney that's going to quit, that we have to delay because they've not been able to reach him.
Okay.
And then that way, you know, I'm going to say, I don't believe anybody. I think he's on it out. So, certainly has the money he needs to go.
All right. Well, that's the thing. You know, you're what? You're the ex-wife, estranged wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well, they're going to talk to you, and you better not say nothing. You hear me?
hey, listen. I got slaveliness. I'm sitting here doing what I believe God wants me to do. But my mouth will never. I've already got mine. If he's disappeared, right? My answer will be, I don't believe it. I think he's on an island. You know, he's not gonna, they say he's missing. They say he's, I don't care what they say. I don't know him. I don't know him. And I'm going to proceed with retaining an attorney. Like right now, what I should be doing is I should be retaining an attorney to help me get rid of this case, which can be done. But I'm going forward on that. I'm going to retain that attorney, and that's my best friend's paying that money to retain that attorney. One of the things he's done is strict with penniless, and so she's going to pay that money to pay. I'm going forward with moving the date of the court because my attorney has New York that week. So my life will continue just as if there's court coming up in May, and I've hired an attorney that he would be very afraid of, and he knows that.
Well, you just said something that kind of worries me. You said penniless. I ain't running the charity.
Well, I was wondering because I don't have like that may be where it stops because I don't have anything to pay right now, but I would later.
What do you mean you would later? You got like life insurance on him or anything?
Well, here's the thing. No. Well, so I chose for him to disappear. So people wouldn't think we were going after the trust, right? Because that defaults to my daughter. But if he doesn't disappear and is found, like committing suicide or something like that, then, or he's known to be a sequel, like a really fast driver, something like that. I worry that it would draw more attention to us, but then the trust is defaulted to me. Then I have funds.
How much we talking?
I just don't know how to, I don't know how to, I don't know even if you would tell me that that's the thing, is, for me. We'll still be filing for his estate, even if he just disappeared. So those money will be coming.
Oh, something like this about 5,000.
That's all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but he's the word, he's not
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
sorry, but let me just tell you something.
it's a risk I'm taking.
I pray for
So.
hate. I hate. I mean, this person is like, and you've saved him. This is like back in the olden days, the Julian judges were saving a lot of other people's lives, and a lot of other people, and a lot of children that I know personally. saying?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, if we're talking about paying later, I'm gonna need something to hold and, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
what you talking?
some kind of promise, like vehicle, a freaking house note, something.
That's my vehicle over there. It's pretty clear then. I don't have a house note. I'm a pharmacist, so I would be able to pay you, once I got, like, I've got a really right up for a really big, I'm just interviewing for like a really large position, which would not cause me any problem. And, I am a person of my word, I know that.
So you're a pharmacist? Like a pharmacist, not like a tech or a helper.
No,
You're
I'm
like,
a 28-year pharmacist.
okay.
Yeah, and I just had an interview yesterday for a position in the executive branch of a national healthcare company, which would allow me, it'd be the most money I've ever made in my life.
Would that put you in contact with any narcotics?
No, I'm out of that.
You're out of that. Okay.
I'm not in the pharmacy.
You have anything you can give me in good faith? Like anything? Because you're talking a trust in millions. I'm pretty sure once you get that, I'd get my 5,000.
Why you I'm not gonna pay you 5,000. I don't pay any trust. But I would have to be. I don't understand how we exchange. We'd have to be so careful.
Oh yeah, well
I do think.
when we go through Steve here,
I do think knowing the good old boys, it would be better if you did that. Because they are every politician and every attorney in the state is corrupt or has to live in the same fishbowl. And you said that they're going to come talk to me. And right now, I am disabled because of my head injuries and everything from it. And that's what it was like, okay. But I work as a pharmacist. You follow me?
yeah.
Okay. So, when they come to me, I have nothing. No money, I have nothing. Right now, we all just got bumped off. I went for this new job I was just doing, a pharmacy appeal. We all just got bumped off of that. So I literally could say, there's no way I could, there's no way I could do this off.
Right.
I'm disabled. We're hanging on here in Franklin.
Yeah.
So, but this sounds so lame. But I give you my word that I'll pay you double. As long as it can't be traced back to me as if it's, I still think the best thing is to disappear it. So as far as then we don't look like we're going after it. Because the first thing that happened if he passed, let's say tomorrow, natural causes, then Gracie would immediately file for, an attorney would file for Gracie for, what's that called, forensic accountant. And they would immediately go find all the bills. It's there. We know it's there. But you have to have proof, is my understanding. And so I don't know how long disappeared takes, but I do know this, she'll be ready to file anyway. She'll file against the state after so much time.
Do you have any cash or anything? Can you go to an ATM or give me anything down?
So broke.
You got any jewelry, anything of value that you could give me to?
I sold everything I was supposed to do. Literally. I learned how to, I grew up with silver spoon. I'm not really proud of that, but I learned when him and my brother were together, came in and they put me on my back, everything. And I learned, I had a friend that taught me how to sell anything that plugged in, everything I had. I had it, yeah. In 2013, I had it, I was loaded. And I woke up the next morning with my children taking from the event, and I went to the bank to try to get money and withdraw, and everything was gone. So I've not rebought my jewelry yet. That's on my list. And expensive things, I like them. It's on my list. I drive Bessie over there because he's sentimental because Grant ran into her so many times with his truck. And that's where he learned to drive. Other than that, I'm gonna have a Range Rover. So
That's the only vehicle you got?
yeah. But that vehicle is worth about, it's worth if you sold it outright cash, it's worth about $4,500. It just needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
But that vehicle can go. I'm having cross the track, because then I could, you know.
What about giving me the registration till we settle
That's
this
what I'm
up?
saying, that's what George and I talked about. I don't even have, I mean, I have I have the registration,
Yeah.
but yeah. You're not talking about the owner. Gosh, I'm afraid to give it. I don't mind giving it to you, but I'm afraid to give it to the place with my name.
Yeah, and I'm afraid of getting stiff. That's what I'm afraid of.
I told you. I don't mind doing this. Let me think. I just don't have access right now.
Does he have money on him? Like a safe or
Yeah.
anything of value in his condo?
Heck yeah. I'm sure he's got a safe. Sure he's got, I know he's got guns. He's got drugs. Coke. He's got everything. Yeah. Where's all, I mean, so yes. And he carries, he always carries, or did, okay? So this hasn't changed. He likes to open that wallet, and it looked like he is proactive. He's got $100 bills. It's a really good point you brought up. His wallet's got $100 bills, flat. And then he'll have his little 20s and his 10s in front, you know, so when he opens it, he's got to flip through all the, and I don't know, I know that his master bathroom is where the kid said he hid it under the cabinet. I'm assuming that also means money. He addressed the two, if he still has them. I got probably have 2 side tables on each side of his bed. Very important. 2 very important areas. And matter of fact, I don't know how this goes down, but he's probably going to do it. Like, tell you what it is. And I don't know what he uses. I've been told it's cocaine. I've never seen it. I know he's on something that he would have to see. So, and now he's got all of this stuff. So, somewhere in there he's got cash that he can just grab and keep that wallet full. Now I know there's also cards that access his bank accounts.
Right.
But that's a traceable. So that's up to you.
I don't want to leave our meeting here without something, you know what I'm saying? Either something to make sure that you follow through with what you're promising me. So is there, I mean, and I know you're saying that you, about trusting and paperwork and all this stuff, you know, I'd feel a lot more comfortable leaving here with the registration of that vehicle. You know, I mean, right now I'm putting all the skin in the game.
Yeah.
With nothing to show for it. You know? So.
What if I give it to Steve? We hold it, please. I have no problem with it.
Okay.
And we were talking the other day about, we were even talking back and forth over our cell phones about selling our phone. So, that's,
Well, why don't you go get it and give it to Steve then?
I mean,
All right, you all right
let's
now?
talk about that little paper that gets you your little sticker thing.
Yeah, the registration.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
By the way, that was them, this is the year before he killed him, and then Gracie, of course, is 18 now, so she looks totally different, but that's.
All right, she's out of the vehicle to get the registration for the vehicle. She agreed to give it to Steve. She'll be coming back to this in a second.
It actually works well, that thing is, usually sold in the time.
And I want to see it. All right, now you understand what this means. You're gonna get that back when I get my money, okay? All right, and you understand that I'm not gonna see you again, that we'll be going through Steve, okay? And you understand that when you get out of this car this next time, that your ex-husband is gonna be dead, and he ain't coming back. You understand that, right? Okay.
Agent Atkins, do you know what she said right there?
That was like the only time that she kind of cried a little bit, and I think she said that she understood. Is kind of, even in the car, it was hard to understand what she said at that point.
Thank you.
All right. And you said you're gonna pay me twice what I asked for.
Yeah, you get $5, like $4 or $5.
Okay.
But you give me time on the money.
Okay.
Give me time until I can, Steve will always know what's going on, but because of what experience, I'll have to navigate that with him. I think it'll take a little bit of time for him to not, like, still be on the island and, unfortunately, file against
All right.
the state.
Oh.
But I won't ever forget you.
Okay. All right.
You're sure I can't give you something.
That's why we're doing it this way.
You're not like wild enough.
No. And I'm trusting that you're not.
No.
Because this
No,
this could be it for me.
I'm a very, naive, horrible person. But I'm taking a big leap right here.
Yeah. Yep, it's a big leap. But like I said, you're not going to see me again, ever.
And we agree on, just before you go, we agree on, sometime about that, for like that, so we agree on just disappearing and then we'll just not showed up. But he can't ever be found, right?
Yeah, yeah. He'll be disappeared. He'll be dead and disappeared.
So basically, my thinking is that it will come out that he, like, maybe it's missing or, maybe on vacation and they're just not sure. They just haven't heard from him. Okay?
I don't know how it will come out.
Well, I mean, something like that, and then I'm like, I don't know where, but they may come and get paid. I don't talk to him, I don't see him.
Well, you understand that when they come and talk to you, you don't say shit about this.
Hell no. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't believe it.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell him, I'm saying, he's on an island somewhere, I don't believe y'all. I don't believe anything these attorneys said, I don't believe anything. But I have nothing. And I'm offended that they're at my house, but they come to talk to me.
Okay.
But it's gonna have to take a while for me to be disappeared, and it's not like you.
As long as you know what's going to happen when you walk out of this car, that's all I need to know. Okay? All right.
And then you got that, and then you also have the contract, but you also have one when, see what you can punch, but I'm sure that will take a while, so I don't want you like coming after me.
Yeah, I understand. That part's going to take a minute.
It'll take a minute. I'll let you double because of the trust agreement.
Okay. That'll work.
And I trust you.
All right.
Oh, should I ask, like, is this going to be soon, or just let everything happen,
Well, I'm only here for a short time, so I don't plan on taking a long time.
do I trust you?
Okay.
Make sure you check that out.
All right. I'm trusting you.
And you'll take care of it, I'm talking to you. You're gonna take care of, like, for example, anything that could trace them, where they can use those to 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He doesn't have it. Does he have an Apple Watch?
Yeah, well, he's got something, a Garmin or an Apple, so
Okay.
it's something.
All right.
He's got some kind of, the last time I saw it, it was a really fancy, it was different for now, but it's a tracker.
Okay. All right. Just send Steve that information that we talked about. And, all right.
No one will ever know, including the person that you did this
Okay. The only people that need to know are right here.
That's all that we know.
Okay.
And it's not weird to walk.
No.
And you've done this.
I'm not talking about what I've done before. But I think
I just intrigued.
I think we're done here, and you need to be on your way.
All right, Steve, you can holler. I'm going to go to the rest of it. All right, thank you, sir. All right. Just save the family.
We're good. Take her down, take her down. They're driving off.
Agent Atkins, I'm gonna pass a document to you. You'll tell me if you can identify that.
That's the registration that Miss Solomon handed to us.
Your Honor, at this time, I would ask to mark the recording of the audio as Exhibit 1 and the registration as Exhibit 2.
And are you gonna provide a thumb drive of?
I have a thumb drive, yes, Your Honor.
So,
If Ms. Mason will take it out of her computer, she
Okay.
can hand it to the court officer.
this would be exhibit 2, thumb drive would be exhibit. Envelope or something, put that in.
And Agent Atkins, about what time of the day did all this occur?
Approximately between 2 and 3 p.m.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Your witness, close.
Thank you, Your Honor. Agent Atkins, I want to talk to you about how this investigation began, okay?
Okay.
When was this situation first brought to your attention?
My boss called me on Thursday the 10th and asked if I could help the Criminal Investigation Division of TBI with a murder for hire investigation.
And your boss being,
Dan Ogle.
and who
Pardon me?
is he?
He's the SAC over the Drug Investigation Division for Middle Tennessee,
And SAC is?
a special agent in charge.
What day would this have been?
Thursday, the day before, so April 10th.
April 10th, okay. Did he contact you by phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where were you when you received this phone call?
I had just arrived at TBI headquarters. So
That is in Nashville?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was Agent Ogles present at the headquarters as well?
No, I don't think he was there. I was.
Do you know where he was at the time?
No, sir.
Okay. And what specifically were you told regarding this investigation?
He just said that the Criminal Investigation Division needed assistance with a murder for hire. They needed an undercover agent to pose as a hitman, and that I was to contact Nathan Neese for more details.
Okay, and who is Nathan Neese?
He's an ASAC, Assistant Special Agent in Charge in the Criminal Investigation Division in Nashville.
Did you receive any additional information from Agent Ogle?
No, that was it. He didn't have a lot of details either. He was just relaying the assignment from ASAC Nathan Neese.
Okay, did he follow up with any documents or reports
Uh,
after the phone call?
My boss?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I never talked to my boss again. I started making contact with Nathan Neese.
You didn't talk to him again?
No.
Okay. And did you immediately contact Agent Neese at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us about that conversation.
He just informed me that they requested an assist from Franklin Police Department, so they had an assist investigation into a murder for hire case, that they were going to try to further the investigation on Friday.
So let me stop you there. Franklin Police Department
Yes, sir.
requested the assist from TBI?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's my understanding. And then he told me to be in Franklin at approximately 9 or 9:30 on Friday morning, and that it would be kind of a fluid situation.
And where were you to meet?
We met, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you. We initially met at one location, and then we moved to a parking lot below, I think, a TOA building or something like that.
Okay, and this is near the Cool Springs Mall? Is it?
I couldn't tell you without looking at a map. I'm not that familiar with Franklin.
Okay. And about what time did you arrive at that location?
I'd say it's about 9 o'clock, 9:30.
And who all was present at that time?
Basically, the investigators from Franklin.
How many investigators from Franklin?
I don't know. I didn't know anybody. I knew there were agents from my division that were to perform a react in case I needed help.
And what agents were present?
I had Kyle Chesser, Erica Stevens, Drew Nash, Kyle Brewer, and then my assistant special agent in charge, Steve Talley, was there. And then there were other agents from Middle Tennessee, from the Criminal Investigation Division.
And who was that?
Logan Corbin and some other newer agents that I don't even know.
Okay. And you referred to a react?
But yeah, basically I had a support team in case things went sideways and I needed to be rescued. They were going to help me out.
And was the informant on scene at that time?
He showed up. Yeah, he showed up later.
About what time?
I don't know, maybe 9:45, 10 a.m. somewhere in there. I don't know for sure.
Had you spoken to him before he showed up that morning?
No, sir.
And he was referred to as Steve in the recording, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Steve's not his real name, correct?
Nah, it's just what I called him.
And tell us about your conversation with the informant once he arrived on this.
Basically my conversation with him was he gave me like a backstory that I was a friend of John, who he knows, and that Miss Solomon is familiar with but doesn't really know, and that I would.
A friend
a
friend of John.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know who John is?
No, sir.
So it's the informant that is providing you with the backstory, is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is involved with this conversation?
The CID agent. I think. Who else was there? Like I said, it was a group. The Franklin detective was there. Logan Corbin was there. I think Nathan Neese was there. There were several other people that were standing around. I don't remember who everybody was.
Were these conversations recorded?
No, sir.
Have you prepared any reports regarding these conversations?
No, sir.
Okay, and if you could pick up regarding the story regarding the friend John.
That was basically it. That I was there visiting John. That they knew I did this kind of work.
And who's they?
The CI, and that was basically all I knew about the backstory. That I'm visiting John. Happened to be in town.
Okay. And this is approximately 9:45?
I'd say somewhere in there, yes, sir.
Okay. What happens next?
They sent the CI out to meet with Miss Solomon. I stayed at that location, and everybody left me there.
I'm sorry, who?
All the other agents, they went to do, I guess, what they would call phase one, where the CI met with Mrs. Solomon. I stayed at the meet location and just waited.
And where did that occur? Phase one?
I don't know. I think they met at her house. I'm not very up to speed on those details. Like I said, I stayed at the meet location where I initially arrived at.
you stayed at the meet location until you moved to the Cool Springs Mall parking lot?
Well, until we moved to the Marriott Hotel.
Marriott Hotel.
Mhm.
At what point did you do that?
Probably around noon is whenever everybody came back and it was pouring down rain and we decided to move to a different location where we had some cover.
And where did you move to?
To the Marriott Hotel.
Well, okay. And how long were you at the Marriott Hotel?
Not very long. We got there to try to get a game plan together as far as what the operation plan would be for introducing myself as the undercover, basically setting up surveillance, possibly having the takedown team ready, having a react team for me. We just went over a basic plan.
And where's this conversation taking place?
It would have been in one of the conference rooms there at the back of the hotel.
Okay. And was there any elaboration as to the game plan at that point?
Other than meeting at the mall, we got information from the informant that she had gone to another location to get some kind of medication or something. And then the informant got a phone call from Mrs. Solomon while we were there at the hotel.
Okay, and what was that phone call regarding?
I got in to hear that phone call while it was in progress. They were setting up a meet for being at the mall, and she said she would just go to that location, and we just agreed to meet there.
Okay, these phone calls, are they recorded?
I think I believe that the detective recorded that phone call.
Okay. And what were you wearing on that day?
I was wearing a black hoodie and blue jeans.
Okay. And you said you did not speak with the informant prior to that morning, approximately 9:45. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you do any investigation into the informant's background?
No, sir.
Did you have any information regarding the informant when you arrived on the scene?
No, sir.
Did you learn anything else?
No,
that day?
no, sir.
Do you know if he's been involved in any other undercover operations?
No, sir, I don't.
Was there any agreement or contract discussed with the informant?
I don't know. I wasn't involved in anything.
Involved with that? Any discussion of pending
I
charges?
don't know.
How long were you at the parking lot of the mall before you were joined in the vehicle?
She was already there, so it wasn't very long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, where were other law enforcement officers positioned at this time?
Some of them were down the road closer to the mall below us. Some of them were across from us to the front right, like I said, closer to the mall where there were more cars so they could blend in. And I never saw where my react team was. They were in a separate vehicle. I think they were somewhere stationed behind me.
Do you know if there was any video on the vehicle you were in?
I don't know, sir.
To your knowledge, did anyone else bring any information forward besides the informant?
I don't know.
To your knowledge, has any additional information been brought forth since arrest?
I don't know. My sole participation in this was being an undercover.
Okay. What reports, if any, have you prepared?
I just wrote a brief report of my involvement. I think it's less than a paragraph.
Were you aware of who Ms. Solomon is before that day? Did you know Ms. Solomon?
Before that day? No, sir.
Okay. Did you know the alleged victim, Aaron Solomon?
No, sir.
Did you speak with anyone besides law enforcement or the informant leading up to this investigation?
No, sir.
Okay. Everyone that you spoke to is either your boss, Agent Ogle, or were on the scene that day?
Yes, sir.
Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Now, you stated you received vehicle registration, correct?
Yes, sir, from Mrs. Solomon.
Okay. Now, you didn't ask for a vehicle title?
No, sir, just the registration. I don't think I asked for the title.
Okay, so you would agree registration does not necessarily denote ownership?
Right, it's just a registration.
Okay, and someone who's paying a car loan would still register a vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Or someone leasing a vehicle would still register a vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the ability to transfer ownership is virtually non-existent regarding, if registration is the only...
As far as I understand, you would need the title to transfer ownership.
Okay. And there was discussion regarding a trust fund. Are you aware if a trust fund does exist?
No, sir.
Okay. You have no details regarding
No, sir.
that? Okay.
No, sir.
How long after the end of the recording we just heard was Ms. Solomon taken into custody?
Once she got out of the vehicle and started walking away, I gave the takedown signal across the transmitter, and they immediately pulled up and stopped her before she got to her vehicle.
Okay, how far did she get from the vehicle you were in?
Let's see, we were in Monroe. She probably got to just past the row across from us, so I don't know, maybe 50 feet, 75 feet.
And there were three occupants in the vehicle, correct?
In the vehicle I was in?
Yes.
Yes, it was the informant, me, and Mrs. Solomon.
No one else?
No, sir.
Okay. No one else entered the vehicle, to your knowledge?
No, sir.
So is your understanding she was immediately placed under arrest, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what occurred? Just what did you witness, or what role did you play in the arrest?
I did not play a role in the arrest. Me and the informant, our plan was to drive off and get stopped by the REACT team in order to give the appearance of like a traffic stop. So that's what we did. So whenever...
Did that occur?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where did that occur?
On the perimeter road, just past the intersection, past Chili's.
And who was in the vehicle at the time?
Just me and the informant.
Okay. And what happened after the vehicle you were in was stopped?
They got us out of the vehicle, acted like they detained us. We had actually pulled in behind a store out of view. That's what the informant did, and after that we just stood around. I made sure that we had the registration that she handed to me, that I handed back to the informant, and also the photograph that she left in the vehicle.
And all of that was recovered?
Yes, sir. It was given to the Franklin detective.
Okay. Was there any type of debriefing between you and Franklin Police Department?
No, not really, because they were listening to the audio live, so they were able to hear everything that transpired.
And what did you do next?
Stayed around to make sure that they had her, that they didn't need anything else from me, and then I departed.
How long after the arrest did you depart?
Oh, I would say less than 30 minutes. I mean, we weren't there long.
Okay. And where did you go from there?
My boss, Steve Talley, the ASAC, took me back to the Marriott Hotel to my vehicle.
Okay. Did you go to the Franklin Police Department?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you meet up with any other law enforcement agents to discuss the arrest or the investigation?
No, sir. Once I got back to my vehicle, I went back to TBI headquarters in Nashville.
Okay. About what time did you get back to TBI headquarters?
4:30, maybe, around there.
Okay. Did you have any other involvement in this case beyond that?
No, sir.
Okay, you never went to the Williamson County Jail?
No, sir.
Okay, never spoke with anyone at the jail or the sheriff's department?
No, sir.
After this arrest? Never spoke with anyone else with Franklin Police Department?
No, sir.
If I could quickly go back to the registration. Was it handed directly to you or to the informant?
She handed it to the informant, and then I just said, I want to look at it.
Okay. And was it in your possession after that, or where was it?
Yes, sir. The informant handed it to me. I looked at it to make sure that it was her name and that the information was on there, and then I handed it back to him.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else, General?
No, Your Honor.
You can step down. Our next witness.
Your Honor, that'll be the state's proof for purposes of the preliminary hearing. We
Okay.
do have a witness regarding bond.
Okay. Well, I'm going to find probable cause. And then we'll discuss the bond. I read your motion, and tell me why you think the bond's too high. Not just because you can't make it, but
Well, that's certainly
it's relevant.
proof
but
as
it's
to
not-
why it's too high. Your Honor, there are specific conditions that are already in place should Ms. Solomon be able to make bond. We're prepared to accept those conditions regarding no contact, GPS monitoring, and any other conditions that the court wishes to impose. The fact that Ms.
Does she have a
Solomon,
place to live?
yes, she does, and I can call. I'm prepared to call a witness who's a member of the community that can vouch for
Vouch for what?
what she can help ensure that Ms. Solomon is present for any and all court dates. She can provide additional information regarding her ties to the community and family in the area.
Well, I'm gonna let you put your proof on, whatever you want to put on. I'm not gonna cut you off. But it's like the second most serious offense that we could be talking about today. So, let's hear what your folks have to say.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, the defense will call Melanie Hicks.
You swear or affirm any testimony you give will be the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Have a seat. Talking to that small microphone there.
Skinny microphone, please. So just scoot up to speak into it. Thank you. That needs to stay close to you. It's recording your voice.
And now, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Melanie Hicks, H-I-C-K-S.
Okay, and do you currently live in Williamson County?
I do.
And specifically here in Franklin?
Yes, sir. I do.
Now, do you know Miss Solomon?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how do you know her?
We've been friends for about 15 years. Our children attended Grace Christian Academy together. Angie was my son's coach at one point. Our kids played ball together, and we became good friends over the years.
Okay. And so you've known her for approximately 15 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, she's lived in Williamson County?
Yes, she's lived in Williamson County many years, yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, does she have a daughter that lives with her?
Yes, she does.
And is she in Williamson County schools?
Yes, she is, yes.
Now, obviously, Ms. Solomon's been unable to make bond to this point. To your knowledge, does she have any ability to make bond in the amount currently set?
I do not believe so, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To your knowledge, does she have any ability to make bond or access to funds?
I don't believe so, sir. Maybe very little, just from a few family and friends, but very little. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And now, to your knowledge, Ms. Solomon will reside in Franklin once she's released, correct?
Yes, her roots are here in Franklin. She has her friends and support system are here. Her daughter attends school here and is very supportive of her daughter. Her daughter is very rooted here as well. She has a 4.5 GPA at school, and Angie provides that sole foundation for her. Also, their son, her son is buried, Grant is buried about 5 minutes away, and Angie tends to his grave regularly. So he is here as well. So her children are rooted here, and she is rooted here as well.
Okay. How close do you live from where she will be residing?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how often do you two see each other?
Weekly.
Weekly?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How often would you say you speak by phone or?
I'd say, probably every other day. So we're good friends. Yes.
Are you confident that amount of contact would continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Solomon, were she to be released on bond, will have most likely have court dates that she will need to attend.
Okay.
Could you help ensure that she's aware of those court dates?
Absolutely. I will support her and getting her to those court dates or whatever's needed.
Okay.
So.
And if for whatever reason vehicle's broken down or couldn't get to court, could you help provide transportation?
Absolutely. Be happy to.
Would you be able to contact her, help remind her of the upcoming court date?
Certainly. I would do that.
Okay. Do you see any reason that you wouldn't be able to assist in any way possible to ensure her presence here in court?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
No. Thank you.
Wait a second, have a seat. These ladies get to ask you some questions.
I apologize.
This is what's called cross-examination.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Hicks.
Good morning.
If Ms. Solomon was released on bond, where would she be living?
She would go back to her current home.
Okay, and where is that?
That is here in Franklin.
Okay. And are you familiar with where she lives?
Yes, I am.
Does she own or is she renting?
She's renting.
And do you know when that lease expires?
I do not.
And you talked about whether or not she would have access to make bond with any money. Are you aware of the GoFundMe accounts that she has?
I am.
And are you aware of the balance in those accounts?
No, I am not.
Okay. And do you know if she has or where the money from those GoFundMe accounts have gone?
I do not.
And are you aware that at one point there was over $100,000 in those accounts?
So from what I understand, the GoFundMe was exclusively for her son's murder investigation.
Okay. And do you know if those funds have been extinguished? Or
I do not
still
know.
available?
I don't know.
And you talked about Ms. Solomon having a good friend support here in Williamson County, and you're part of that friend support group, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Would it surprise you to learn that Ms. Solomon believes that there is a high-level human trafficking ring involving the governor and the attorney general of the state of Tennessee?
I don't know anything about that.
So you and her have never had these conversations?
So I've seen things on social media. I've heard different things, but I don't know for sure.
So when you guys talk on the phone every other day, she's never brought up to you her theory of this high-level human trafficking involving the governor and the attorney general?
Not that I can remember.
Would it surprise you to learn that she feels that way?
I don't have an opinion on that.
This is outside the scope.
I'll give her an opportunity to make something out of this if she can, but it doesn't sound like she's going anywhere right now.
So what was your answer?
I don't know.
You don't
So,
know?
yeah.
Okay. Would it surprise you to learn that Ms. Solomon, in addition to her husband or ex-husband Aaron Solomon, was also interested in having two other individuals paid to be murdered?
Objection, Your Honor. There's
I
no
think that is relevant.
That is very relevant. The purpose of bond goes to safety
I'm
of the
pretty sure
community.
that there were mentioned in the recording just a few minutes ago. And so I'm interested in knowing what other mischief she may be up to if I were to let her out of jail. Okay.
So are you aware that there were two other individuals that she was also interested in hiring to have murdered?
I am not aware of that.
So again, during your 15-year friendship and every other day phone calls, this is not something that you and her discussed?
No.
Did she ever discuss with you her intention or desire to have Aaron Solomon murdered?
No, she did not.
That's all the questions I have.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Burleson, you can step down. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you.
Who else do you have to call?
No more proof, Your Honor.
No other proof. General?
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, state calls Detective Kyle Brink.
And Officer Brink, do you swear or affirm your testimony you give will be the truth?
Yes.
Have a seat.
Speak into the skinny microphone, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you would please introduce yourself to the board.
I'm Detective Kyle Brink with the Franklin Police Department.
And Detective Brink, what is your role in this case?
I was assigned this case on April 4th as the primary investigator.
And you're with Franklin Police Department, is that right?
Correct.
And as part of the primary investigator, are you involved in all aspects of the investigation?
Yes, in some form, shape, or form, yeah.
And you said you got assigned the case on April 4th, is that correct?
Correct.
And were you present for all the way up to the takedown of Ms. Solomon on April 11th?
Yes, in some way I was present for the case. I was not the UC, obviously, but
So it's fair to say this was about a week-long investigation. Is
Correct.
that accurate?
And during that week-long investigation, did you meet with the confidential informant?
I did, yes.
And did you have conversations with that individual?
I did.
And did you also listen to the live feed of Miss Solomon when she met with the Undercover?
Yes.
And during the course of your week-long investigation, did you learn if Miss Solomon was also interested or asking questions about having other individuals also murdered?
Yes.
And how many individuals were there?
2.
And have you reached out to those to let them know that they were potentially a target of hers as well?
Yes.
We'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Detective Brink, I suspect you did a background investigation into Miss Solomon, correct?
Some, yes.
Okay, and you know that she does not have any type of criminal history?
Correct, she does not.
No charges, no convictions?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Correct. Now, were you present the day that she was arrested?
Yes.
Okay. And were you involved with taking her to the Williamson County Sheriff's Department?
I did not transport her, no.
You did not transport her. Did you meet with her shortly thereafter?
She was transported to the police department from the arrest location, and we did attempt to interview her at the police department.
Okay, and were you able to interview her?
She essentially said that she thought she should talk to an attorney, so we did not interview her.
Okay, did you make any observations regarding her demeanor at that time?
At the police department, she didn't say a lot. I mean, she started to show a little bit of emotion at that point. Kind of say like she was kind of confused about what was going on, but that was about it.
Confusion?
Just she was saying like she just doesn't know what's going on, that type of stuff, and started to show a little bit of emotion, like she might be a little upset, but that was about all.
Okay. Now, was she Mirandized?
She was, yes.
Okay. Did she? Well, besides trying to elicit a statement from her, did you ask her to sign anything?
When we read her Miranda, we asked her to sign that form if she wished to speak to us, but I don't recall anything else asking her to sign anything that day.
Okay. And that was on April 11th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, she was taken into custody at approximately 2 o'clock.
It was about 3 o'clock she was
About
taken
3
into custody.
o'clock. Okay. And obviously, she's been unable to make bond to this point.
Correct.
Now, you prepared the affidavit of complaint in this case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the arrest warrant is not issued until April 13th. Is that correct?
So there was an original arrest warrant on the 11th. We found where the magistrate had made a mistake and classified it as a C felony instead of a B felony. So I consulted with the district attorney's office on that and then fixed that on the 13th.
And when was that error recognized?
When did I recognize the error? I don't remember exactly. Probably that Saturday, I guess, the day after, the 12th.
Okay. So was that original arrest warrant recalled?
The original one, I believe so, yes. I provided that original one to ADA Duddy.
Okay. And so you had already gone before the judicial commissioner, correct? The day before?
On the 11th, yes, I did.
On the 11th, okay. And had you already prepared your affidavit of complaint before you went before the judicial commissioner?
On the 11th?
Yes.
Yes, we can send that digitally to them, and I prepared that at the station and sent that to them digitally, and then went down there in person.
Okay. Was that before you met with Ms. Solomon?
After.
After?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you provide any additional information to the judicial commissioner outside of what's in your affidavit of complaint?
On the 11th,
Yes.
I don't believe so. There was some confusion down there about how to get with their system to get the solicitation charge correct with like the statute, because it required the second statute, but I don't believe there was any additional information.
Well, let me ask this. Were you asked any additional questions by the judicial commissioner outside of your affidavit of complaint?
Like as it relates to the probable cause?
Probable cause and bond.
No, the magistrate spoke with, the bond wasn't even set until the magistrate spoke with Ms. Solomon.
And how long after, well, were you present for that?
I was standing next to Ms. Solomon when that happened, yes.
Okay. So going back, did the magistrate ask you any additional questions outside what is contained in your affidavit of complaint?
I don't recall any, but
Okay, but you're hesitating.
I mean, I don't remember if they asked me a specific question. I don't remember if they asked me specific questions because she, as it relates to Ms. Solomon, I know she asked some questions about Mr. Solomon because of like GPS monitoring conditions and things of that nature. But I don't remember if she did specifically or did not.
You don't remember if the magistrate asked you additional questions?
As it relates to Ms. Solomon and her bond,
Right.
I don't know.
Were you asked your opinion as to the bond amount?
No.
Okay. After that conversation, a arrest warrant issues, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then the next day, it's determined that that warrant's flawed.
Yeah, we needed to fix the classification correct.
Did you go back before the magistrate
I went back to the magistrate on the 13th.
on the 13th?
Correct.
Okay. And what took place when you went back to the magistrate?
We fixed the error there with the classification of that charge. They also wanted us to include, again with the confusion of the two statutes involved, to include that in the body of the affidavit. And then I also, in that affidavit, I felt that it may have been unclear that the registration was provided over, so the word provided was included in that second affidavit to clear, in case a reader may have misunderstood whether that was provided or not.
Okay. So going back to the original appearance before the magistrate,
Mm-hmm.
you spoke with Ms. Solomon before you went before the magistrate, is that correct?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. Did you gather any additional evidence from the time Ms. Solomon arrives at the jail to the time that you go before the magistrate?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you seek any additional evidence?
From when she arrived at the jail to...
Did you ask her to consent to any searches?
No. When we were at the... Well, I thought you were talking about that day. Several days later when I met with you, yes, I did offer assistance with her car when I received that phone call from Ms. Hicks.
Okay, but before that, before you went in front of the magistrate?
I didn't ask any consent for searches, no, prior to the magistrate.
Okay. How about before the second arrest warrant was issued?
Any consent? No.
Did you gather any additional evidence against Ms. Solomon between the time the first arrest warrant was sworn out? And
I don't believe so.
Did you prepare any reports during that time?
No.
Okay, and what reports have you prepared?
I've been working on a report. I haven't finished my report, but I've been working on a report.
And you mentioned that you noted confusion on behalf of Ms. Solomon.
She stated that she was confused.
Okay. Did you have any discussions regarding any mental health issues?
No.
Okay. Did you seek any information regarding any medication she was taking?
I did not know.
Did you believe she may be under the influence?
I did not believe that at the time, no.
Okay. Did you believe that she was in any way unable to have the capacity to speak to you?
Did I feel she had the capacity? Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
No further questions, Your Honor, but as an officer of the court, I would like to clarify, based on some of the questions, just for procedural. The first warrant was dismissed the Monday morning before Ms. Solomon's bond appearance. And so that's what happened to that first warrant. It was dismissed.
I think I knew that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No. You have an argument?
Your Honor, Ms. Solomon's bond is unreasonably excessive. The fact that she's been unable to make the bond and the amount set, because there are conditions already imposed that if the court reduces her bond can ensure not only her appearance in court, but also the safety of the community or any alleged victims involved. She's agreeing to wear an ankle monitor, GPS monitor.
Let me ask you, I saw the conditions, I read the conditions, but it's come up that there is this GoFundMe account that's that was created for some other purpose, but my understanding of these GoFundMe accounts, it's not like a trust document. There are no restrictions on the person that receives the money on how they use it. If they don't use good faith, I don't think there are any legal repercussions.
Judge, I can't speak to that. All I can say is if there are accounts or any funds that Ms. Solomon can access.
You don't think she should have to access those accounts if she has access to them to make a bond?
I'm not saying she shouldn't if that's allowed, but the fact is she hasn't, even if funds exist, she hasn't been able to access them to the point that it secured her release from custody.
Right.
So the bond and its amount, as it's currently set, is unreasonable. So I think the court should reduce her bond.
But what I don't hear you telling me is the question that nobody's supposed to ask, which is, could she make a bond at all? If one were set at some other level other than an ROR?
Well, she's going to have some access to funds. She's going to have this disability check. I think there may be funds that can be accessed. All we're asking is for the bond to be released or be reduced to a reasonable amount and allow her to do whatever she legally can to secure that bond, because she is in a much better position to be able to assist with counsel to investigate the case. If she is released pre-trial, she maintains the presumption of innocence, and holding her pre-trial solely because she's unable to make the bond is improper.
Right. What do you think about these allegations that her ex-husband wasn't the only target of her campaign to eliminate these folks that she thought were causing her so much despair in her life?
Well, there's very little evidence presented to the court regarding that.
I know, but it came out of
And-
her own mouth. I could hear
and-
it. She wanted to go into it with the undercover guy, and he didn't really want to hear it.
Fact
She
is,
started down that trail, you know, he cut her off. I mean, it's
Well-
something she's apparently in the middle of wanting to have her husband killed. It's on her mind.
well, our position is there were a lot of things said in that card that she didn't mean. What we're asking is for the
Well, there are a lot
bond.
of things in that car that neither side meant. I mean, it was.
Correct. You know, we're asking for the bond to be set in a reasonable amount. Her continued incarceration, pre-trial, when she maintains a presumption of innocence, is improper. It's only because a bond is set at an amount that she cannot make. The defense is sympathetic to the court's concern that the community at large is safe and that the alleged victim in this case is safe. And we are of the position that the conditions already imposed by the magistrate are sufficient to ensure the safety of the community and the alleged victim. We would ask the court reduce the bond to amount of $25,000.
Let me hear what you have to say, John.
Your Honor, the state strongly opposes any type of bond reduction. First and foremost, this court has to consider the safety of the community. A GPS will do nothing to prevent Ms. Solomon from picking up the phone and contacting someone else and perhaps arranging another type of situation that we just heard about from the words of her very own mouth. This is an individual who had no hesitation in meeting with somebody who she knew would murder her husband, ex-husband. She had no hesitation about turning over the registration of her car to make sure he didn't leave empty-handed. She had no hesitation in talking about, as you heard on the recording, about others that she was concerned about. The investigation revealed 2 potential other targets that, to the point where law enforcement took steps to reach out to them and let them know. Your Honor heard on the recording, this is a woman that believes that there is a high-level human trafficking ring that the governor as well as the attorney general is involved in. So the state submits that a GPS does not secure the safety of the community. It may allow us to track where she is and where she's going. It may allow her to come to court, but it definitely is not going to protect the safety of the community from her given this type of crime that she's charged with. So the state believes that the bond is appropriately set and that remain at the amount.
Can I be heard briefly?
Yes, sir. Unless the general has something to say first. Nothing.
As I've said, we believe strongly that the conditions set forth by the magistrate will help assure the safety of the community, safety of alleged victims. And as I said in our bond motion, we will also accept additional conditions that the court may wish to impose.
Like house arrest?
House arrest, limiting or preventing access to phone, internet,
How do you do that?
computer. It's a court order.
I mean, I know it's a court order.
And so,
I order stuff all the time. I have more luck with Captain D's than I have with some of those carriers. So, I mean, there's nothing to prevent somebody from violating court order one time.
Judge, I can assure you that Ms. Solomon so desperately wishes to regain her freedom that any conditions that the court would impose would be properly followed and ensure not only her ability to help prepare her defense, assist with counsel to that end, but also ensure the safety of the community and the alleged victim in this case.
Anything else?
No.
Well, I have to say that I have deep concerns about about the defendant's ability to see the situation that she's in right now. And reading the statute as it sits right now, I mean, even if the statute were changed as it's working its way through this legislature to be signed by the governor, even if it were changed to what the folks are asking to be done, it probably wouldn't change the factual situation we have with this particular defendant today. She has no prior criminal record. She has one horribly misguided attempt to change her life in a perverse sort of way. Based on the statute, I believe the bond is a little bit high. And I'm going to be willing to do something that probably won't be what y'all want. I'm going to reduce the bond to $250,000 only on the condition that she's under house arrest. She has all the conditions that are in the bond condition document already. Plus, you're going to have to remove all telecommunications devices and internet devices from the residence. And if somebody slips her a telephone, she's going to go right back to jail. The only exit she would have would be to come to court and to meet with you, Mr. Burleson. It's the only time she'd be allowed to leave the premises.
But for doctor's appointments or things of that nature.
Great.
Oh, and also her civil attorney.
Well, her civil attorney probably come to her house. They make house calls.
Well, we'd ask for the same leeway.
Yeah, y'all can go to her house. But I'm not. I think she needs to be restrained. The things I heard her say on the tape. You know, I'm trying to follow the law, but they give me great pause. So that's the order of the court.
So just to clarify, no access to the internet, telephones or other
Any
communication devices.
communications devices.
In your honor, for the court to ensure that, will the court order law enforcement to go to her house to make sure? Because when you get into internet, you're talking about Xboxes, televisions, Alexa devices, smartwatches. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so will there be any check to make sure those are all cleared out of her house?
Well, she'll have a bondsman if she makes bond.
Yes.
So that would be part of their. I guess you could set up a jamming device outside her house, like the North Koreans.
True. Will there be any authority for law enforcement to check afterwards or periodically? Or are we just going on the faith system that she's not
No,
gonna
we're
do?
not going to go on faith, but I don't think they should be allowed to come and go as they please. I think we'd have to give some notice, let's say 24-hour
Upon
notice
release.
to her attorney,
Okay.
and for him to make sure that she doesn't keep them from coming in.
So upon her release, notify her attorney, give them 24 hours that law enforcement is gonna sweep the house and make sure
Right.
all telecommunication, internet devices have been removed.
Right.
Thank you.
You're going to do the order?
I can.
And that's a one-time occurrence in the state's mind?
No, I don't don't think so. I think they'd be able to do it if they thought it were necessary, but they'd have to give you notice first. I'm not gonna say just one time.
Your Honor, again, to be clear, since we're gonna do the order, she may only leave her house for court. That is it.
Court, to meet with her civil attorney, to meet with her criminal attorney.
Okay.
What
They-
about doctor's
I
appointment?
can't hear you.
What about doctor's appointments, Your Honor? I believe she needs to go to the doctor as soon as she can when she gets out.
Well, you let me know when the appointment is. We'll give her a reasonable amount of time to go.
Thank you.
But it's, I mean, I'm not gonna let her go to the gym and go to the grocery store.
Yes, sir.
This is much like the young lady that killed the Brentwood police officer. Same kind of restrictions. That's what I'm looking for.
And Your Honor, Ms. Solomon has a daughter that resides with her. Obviously, her access to phone or internet should not be limited.
You know, I think that's just gonna be the fallout of this whole thing. I'm gonna eliminate those devices from the house.
I think a compromise could be made that she could have access to those devices in her room or a specific part of the
I'm
home.
not gonna do that. They're just gonna have to work it out some other way. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna, it's either all gone or there's no reason to do it at all. Maybe your daughter will stay with this other lady.
Your Honor, the current bond condition also requires her to surrender or dispossess herself of any firearms. When law enforcement goes in to sweep for electronics, can they also verify that the firearms have been removed from the house?
Yes. Anything else?